Look, if you don't want the axe, go put it back. Here, I got it. Here, I got it. Here.
Okay, Steven.
It's right there. It's good. You come sit right here. I'll hang on to the axe, okay?
Could you please?
Don't worry about the axe, okay? Here.
Would you want it just like you're a knight?
Hold on to it like I'm a knight. So I need to keep this axe.
And you could maybe have the shivers while I walk through the wall.
Okay, but I want you to sit there and have.
Run through the wall and into the hall.
I'm gonna set the axe right there for a moment. Can you leave it be while I get myself a chair? Here, I want you to be right there. You stay right there while I get myself a chair. Okay. All right, watch out, Barkley. Okay. All right, we are going to paint this here car.
And then what?
And then when we're all done painting this car, you can go back up and watch your Berenstein Bear video and get ready for bed, okay?
Like a knight.
Like a knight.
Could you be a knight? Could you be a knight? Just because I've never been one before doesn't mean I...
You've never been a knight before?
Whoa, can't be one today.
Well, hey, you know who's...
Can't be one today.
Here,
Careful.
this...
Flip it over.
This guy's like a knight. Look at him. He's got a giant axe. And hey, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at his big axe. Bishop made this miniature. He's like a knight. I'm gonna put him right there, okay? All right, I would like you to help me paint this car. And the way I want you to help me paint this car is with these markers, okay? Would you like to help me pick some colors for this car?
Me.
Well, I can either pick the colors myself, or you can help me pick the colors. So, I was thinking about painting this car orange. What do you think? Orange car?
But I want you to find the axe. You can
Well,
take the axe.
we're not going to do that right now. We're going to paint this car. I was pretty certain that you were going to help me paint this car.
I could help you.
Yeah, could you? Well, here. Why don't you look at all these colors right here, and you decide what color you want to paint this axe, okay? Here, I'm bringing up our chat in case anyone starts talking with us so I can read it. All right. Okay, I have green, I have blue, I have gray, I have orange here. I'm just going to limit it. I'm going to go green, orange, and red. That I would like this car to be painted one of those colors. Here, you pick. All right, buddy? Hey, how's it going? Okay, that is, oh, there you go, you got it, that's orange. Okay, so hold on. So what you're gonna have to, hold on. What you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to hold this car. So, we want to, hold on, here, let's go a little slower. Let's go a little slower, here,
I'm
first.
already trying to.
I know, you're doing a good job trying to, but I want you to hold it like it was a pencil. Okay, there we go, and now here, we're gonna try and do it, lightly, just like that. There you go, like that. And then we can cover the whole car with orange. Here, I'll let you do it. Good job. Yeah, there we go. It's fine if you get the windshield. We're gonna have to paint it afterwards. But we're gonna try and cover the whole car with that. Okay?
Sounds like a leprechaun.
Who's like a leprechaun? Hey, here, watch what you're doing. Well, you gotta pay attention to what you're doing, man.
But it sounds like there's a leprechaun in the city.
Wait, there's a leprechaun in the city? If we paint that car orange, will it prevent the leprechaun from coming to the city?
Yes, I saw a leprechaun.
Did you?
Yes, I saw a man just like in a green cape.
You saw a man in a green cape?
And he had a green leprechaun suit.
He had a green leprechaun suit. Here.
Jacket, just like he was a big leprechaun.
Here. All right, we can keep talking about this leprechaun. I want to help you focus on painting this thing.
He had a big leprechaun superhero jacket.
Hold on. Let's hold this. Let's hold this right here and right here. That way we don't touch the paint area that we've just put on. And then here, let's try and make some even.
But I'm saying,
we're gonna try and make some
even and Steven.
Like even and Steven. Yeah, we're gonna try and make some even lines.
Just like I feed McLeach.
Just like you feed McLeach?
Wait, I need an axe back because I've got a plan.
You need to do what?
Wait, can I have my axe because I've got an idea.
No, we're gonna leave the axe alone right now.
Wait, I'll throw it down to
I don't want.
Can I because I promised not to let anything happen because I promise I won't.
I'm sorry, what are you going to do with this axe?
I'm gonna throw it. Sorry, I'll throw that to you guys. Oh.
That was, okay, hey, that was a bad choice.
Sorry.
That was a bad choice, okay?
Good.
No.
And now I'm all done.
I'm going to have to take that axe away now because I don't want you to have thrown that at the dog. That was not polite.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't throw the axe at you.
You actually did mean to. Okay, now here, we're going to go back. We're going to stick with painting. All right, we're going to try and focus on the thing we're doing. How's it going, Forsaken Fanatic? All right, so I want you to help me hold this, okay?
But I wonder what happens
Listen.
if the dogs chew on it.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen if the dogs chew on it, but we're not going to worry about that anymore. Right now,
Don't worry.
listen, right now, we're going to paint this car orange. No, stay with me. Stay with me. We're going to paint this car orange, okay? Are you helping me paint this car orange?
Yes.
Okay, we want to get all the blue spots because this is not supposed to be a blue car. This is supposed to be an orange car. So if Hulk was going to throw this orange car at someone, it would be very bright and blue.
You mean a leprechaun?
No, we're not talking about leprechauns right now. We're talking about this orange car. This orange car. Here, I want you to help me. I want you to help me hold this orange car with this other hand, okay? Right now, you've been feeling my hand paint here. I want you to make gentle marks, just like that. No, here. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. Even light brushes, right? We just brush the marker.
And Steven.
Even Steven, right? Even Steven.
You forgot Steven part.
I did forget the Steven part there. Now I didn't forget the Steven part anymore. Even Steven. How's it going, Shadow Plush Show? What is new? Well, here, I'll flip this around. You can see while he's markering this. Let's see. There we go. This.
Okay, so I'm all done painting this car.
No. We're still painting, and we want to paint. We want to paint it. No. We're painting. Working on this city here, trying to get this thing finished. Whoops. Anyways, that is an ongoing project that I'm working on. So hopefully we can start playing a game with him sometime in the future. My goal is to actually get him playing on this table with miniatures. And so one of the ways we'll probably be able to do that is with Marvel Crisis Protocol. He particularly likes the vehicles and the city and all that, the modern city. So, all right, here. Here we go. Here we go. Let me hear. Let me hear. There. All right, let's hold on to this thing. Let's hold on to this thing. Here we go.
A gremlin and a pace.
A gremlin and a what?
And a pace. When you see
gremlin
that waterfall, you miss that green big red button.
Who missed the green big red button? Here, we're going to keep holding the car. Who missed that green big red button?
So that, I cannot admit.
You can keep holding this. You can keep holding this. There you go. Yeah, but we don't remember. We want to hold it. You can hold it just. What's that?
Paint this car. I'll put him back.
As soon as we have him all covered in orange, you're all done. Okay. I just want you to here. I want you to keep helping me. Okay. You keep helping me paint this car orange. All right.
Give on the axe. Nuh-uh.
We're gonna leave the axe on the ground right now, right, buddy? We're gonna leave the axe there. Here.
Not to step on that red green axe.
Yeah, we're not gonna step on. Hey, help me paint car. Remember, help me paint car. All right, there we go. Stay with me. There you go. Yeah, just keep here. Look here. Look with your eyes. We're gonna use your hand. We're gonna go real slow. We're just gonna go whoop, whoop, whoop. Right? Okay.
I will try.
You can try.
I can even in Stephen McCreech.
You're doing even in Stephen McCreech. Okay, here. Now remember.
A little help.
Yeah. Okay. We don't want to do it so hard. Okay. We want to make gentle brushes. Okay. Because the paint comes out real easy. We don't have to do it super hard.
A little help.
A little help. So, would we like to mix this orange with some red?
May I go and watch Bernstein Bears?
No, not yet, because we still have to get this car orange, okay?
And then what?
And then once this car is all orange, then you can go watch Bernstein Bears. Okay? Here, Steven, you got to hold this. Yeah, hold that marker. Okay? Here, you hold the marker. and I'm going to help guide your
We didn't make
hand.
a sponge. We made a worse.
You made
I turned my pills. My breath smells bad.
I'm sorry, what?
My breath smells bad. Time to get some water.
Your breath smells bad? Yeah, we'll brush your teeth in just a minute, okay?
No, time to get some water.
We'll get water in just a minute,
It's
okay?
time to get some water,
know.
not brush teeth. Get some water.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get water in just a minute, okay? We're almost done painting, all right? We're painting this blue car orange. We're painting this blue car orange. Not white or green or aquamarine. We're painting this blue car orange. Realize we're not actually looking at us paint this blue car orange. There we go. Pop that down a little bit. Okay, every time I set that down, you go painting the bottom. You really want to go here. Not so hard. Not so hard. Remember.
I'm trying to paint a lot. I tried to paint.
I know. But you don't have to actually push that hard, Bubs. There you go. Here, you hold it here. Here, let's try and get this. Are you making Lightning McQueen noises? Ka-chow! I heard that. Ka-chow! What else does Lightning Queen say? Do you remember what Lightning Queen says? No? All right. Let's go back to painting this blue car orange. You still with me, buddy? Hey, stay with me. What are we doing right now? Do you know what we're doing right now?
Oh.
Hey, do you know what we're doing right now?
The class put it on Lightning McQueen, and I watched Lightning McQueen get chased by sheriff, and I watched it.
You watched Lightning McQueen get. Oh, is this at school?
Yes, I watched Lightning McQueen get chased by a police car.
That's fine. I'm fine if you're at school and you're watching Lightning McQueen. That's okay, buddy.
It's okay if I watch Lightning McQueen like that again.
At school, yes.
Yes, but if he's not crashing,
That's fine. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you telling me about Lightning McQueen. Thank you. Yeah. Good job, buddy.
It's orange already.
It's very orange on this side. You're right, but we have a few spots we're missing, right? So we have to get these spots that we're missing. There you go. You see it. I can tell you can see it, right? You're looking in real close to that. There you go. That's the marker cat. No, we're not done yet. We're not. Okay, well then, hold on. We're just done with that color. We're gonna move to red. Treader.
You can move to red because I'm.
No, you're gonna help me. No, you're gonna. You're gonna help me.
Girdle,
no.
Mr. Krill.
Come here. Come on, hey.
Mr. Krill, gotta have girdle, Mr. Krill.
I'd like you to put that magnet sticker. No, leave it. Come here. There we go. Thank you. Okay. All right, car, then Berenstain Bears, okay?
And then a lot of Berenstain Bears.
And then a lot of Berenstain Bears. Well, wait, remember, we got bedtime, because what is it tomorrow? What happens tomorrow? Do you know what happens tomorrow? Let's leave the axe be. Let's stay right here with me. Do you know what happens tomorrow? Do you have school tomorrow?
I can give you the axe if you want to do it.
You can give me the axe if you want to do it?
You could do that. Wait,
I could do what?
And I want Berenstain Bears.
I know you want to watch Berenstain Bears.
With my mom, you could use the axe and paint.
I cannot paint with that axe. That's silly. Axes are not for painting.
Please, I want to grab it. I want you to hold on to it.
You want me to hold that axe? Isn't that the axe you just threw at Chloe?
I didn't mean to throw it at her. I didn't mean to throw it at Barkley.
You kind of did.
I mean to throw it at Barkley and
Clogly. Here. All right, we got one little section on the back
Barkley
and this other door. Okay, help me get this one little section on the back, and then we got the.
It's okay, Barkley and Chloe.
It's okay, Barkley and Chloe.
No, you mean Barkley.
Hello, Mike. How's it going? And hello, Becca.
You saw a green leprechaun?
I have not seen any green leprechauns. Have you seen a green leprechaun?
I saw one with a cape on. I saw a kid wearing.
I'm sorry. You saw a kid wearing a cape?
Mm-hmm.
Was this at school?
No, it was. Yes.
No. It was not at school?
I tried to stop Aiden. Destroyed Aiden.
Oh, you destroyed Aiden at school today?
At school on the trampoline. Yes, I tried to stop those leprechauns. I saved the day.
Oh, was he being a leprechaun?
Yes, well, then I still had to save you. Well, especially if it wasn't for the backbones, then.
I'm sorry, it wasn't for the backbones?
Then.
You're not making any sense. Hey, I told you to leave my sticker magnet alone. Can you put it back on the... Okay, can I have that? Thank you. I'm going to have to...
It's a coin.
It's kind of like a coin. You're right. It's kind of like a coin.
Could you pretend like that?
I will. Yeah, I will. It's like a coin, right? All right. We are mostly done with this car. Let's get a few more spots that we missed, and then you can go do Berenstein Bears while I continue on with my live stream. Okay?
Okay. Can I do?
Hold on. Hang on. We got a few. You want to?
I get a
No. We're not. Okay. I like to. No. Whoa. No. Wait.
We've
I like
already
that you.
finished painting.
I like that you know how to cover up these pens and markers, but I'm not done yet. I want to touch up a couple more things, and then we'll be done. Okay? Just wait. Let's give it 1 more minute. Can you have your hand? Okay. And then when we're all done, you're going to go straight upstairs to go finish bedtime stuff with Mommy, right?
Berenstein Bears.
Finish Berenstein Bears.
Of course,
okay?
but I will destroy you with that axe.
No, we're not going to destroy me with that axe.
Can I give it to you?
You can give it to me, not destroy me.
I will give it to you, but there's only one more thing.
Okay, hold on. Are you going to hand it to me gentle, or are you going to throw it at me like you did through the clue?
Gentle.
Not going to throw it like Chloe?
I will throw it a little bit.
No throwing it a little bit. I'm not going to throw it a little bit.
I will.
No, you won't.
I will throw it a
Listen.
little bit. I'll give it to you and throw it.
Listen.
Wait,
Oh. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take the axe. Thank you. Okay. Good job, buddy. Good evening. How's it going? Apparently I just uploaded a short. All right. Means a lot to me. Very kind group in there. Oh, yeah. No problem, man. How's everything going this week? I have managed to get quite a bit of work done on this terrain set. These are the Venetian terrain pieces from TT Combat. It's taken me about a week and a half to finish painting all of these pieces. Here, I'll get down inside so you can see them a little closer. It's been tough, but we're getting through it. It's been busy. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it is coming along. Yeah, I pretty much have everything painted already that I have built. But down there, you should be able to see that bucket, that white bucket, that is filled with terrain. And then that stack next to it on the left there, it's also more terrain. So a lot of stuff to keep getting to. My goal is to have a lot more of this verticality in here. Like I really want to have a few towers where there's bridges going from towers to houses and all that. So a lot of stuff I have to still get done. A bunch of stairways and buildings. And I've just been painting it all with these markers, which has worked really great because the markers kind of line up great to give me like little brick lines, and they're good for the edge highlighting, and even easy enough to use for like details like the flowers and stuff. So, and in the places where I need to get something more fine, like these little white lines, I've been using, all right, I got to unplug for a second. I've been using these, and these are called play markers. They're also by AK, and they work really great. So that has been my ongoing project, just kind of in the background. You know, sort of hoping like maybe I can actually get Riker to pay attention to a game. If I get some kind of story going, like with characters and a narrative or something, my hope is that I could actually get him to move a miniature around on the board somewhere, like with some kind of intentionality. Because like right now, all the games that we try to play with Riker, I don't know if it's like autism. I don't know if it's his Tourette's. I don't know if it's visual impairment. Like I don't actually know what it is, but he just checks out. He's just like he kind of stonewalls us. We're like, hey, you can roll the dice, and he just refuses to pay attention, you know. And it's like I don't want to like, you have to take your turn. You know, like I want him to actually want to. So my thought was if I get all this stuff built out here and get an exciting board with all this terrain out here, maybe he'd actually try and play. But I'll probably start creating some videos with little stories or something with characters and narration or something, and see if that gets him jazzed about it. So I'm also working on Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, which is why this is all out. Some of it's just been how easy these real color markers are to paint things. Like they've made it so easy to just like pick up a few things and start painting it. Like you just pull the cap off, you start painting. You got to go to dinner or something. Like, all right, cap back on. It means that I've brought out like all my old terrain sets that I just had no intention of painting. And now it's like, okay, that was like 5 minutes to get that paint on there. Just so easy. Let's see. My nephew who has autism is the same way. It's always been a challenge. Not sure how old your son is, but when he turned 12 to 13, it got easier. Not sure why though. That's interesting. You know, I mean, and I hope something like that would happen with Riker. Like maybe he gets older and just kind of like merges into it or something. But at the same time, I have the thought like, what if he doesn't? And right now, it's actually been difficult for him to make friends. It's been difficult for him to like connect with people at school, because when he's playing with other kids, like, you know, again, I don't know if it's autism or what it is, but when he's playing with other kids, he doesn't really listen to their input. Like he's not actually engaging well with other kids, and he's not hearing what they're saying to add to the story. He's mostly dominating and like telling people, you do this and you're going to be that. So my thought was if I could teach him how to play a game, then maybe he'd be able to pay attention to other kids more, you know, and then it'd be easier for him to make friends or something. Let's see, he wouldn't pay attention to a single thing when we would play board games. There was just a click. It was just a click. Every child is a blessing and each has their own challenges. No, I agree with that. Riker is a challenge and a blessing. I mean, we wouldn't be doing anything with tabletop gaming or tabletop RPGs or any of that if it wasn't for Riker. In 2022 or 23, I took Riker to Target, picked up a bunch of board games because I was just like, we got to find some way to play with him. And you know, that was actually the first steps that we took as a family trying to play games together, because we were playing like Connect 4 and checkers and you know, just different games. And eventually we picked up like Zombicide and some of the games that we started playing as a family. But Riker and our struggle to try and connect with Riker is the reason why we play games together. It's the reason why we do any of this like kind of hobby stuff now. So he is a challenge and he definitely is a blessing. So it's been frustrating, but it's also been like a wonderful growth and learning thing, trying to figure out like how to connect with Riker through games. Everybody connects in different ways. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And trying to figure out how Riker connects has been like the mystery. So I'm gonna get myself set up here to start painting some of this scatter terrain I have. I have a bunch of this stuff that I picked up from TT Combat, and I could not figure out how to prime it. It's like it's resin, but it's some kind of resin that every time I prime this stuff, like I get the primer on. And this is like a little monster. This is from TT Combat as well. Same resin, and every time I prime it, like the primer scratches off. Like I'm not even like scratching that hard, and it'll just start to, you can see like all the edges there, boom, it's gone, paint's gone. My wife suggested putting Mod Podge on it. And I was like, okay, I'm fresh out of ideas, right? I'm about to start looking for, you know, how to make a Venetian boat on my own with paper popsicle sticks or something. Anyways, I was like, fine, it couldn't hurt. So I just started applying Mod Podge to a bunch of it. And now the paint sticks. So I have a bunch of this that because I need to get, it needs to have like some kind of other touch. Like these boxes, they're fine, but I'd actually even like to paint these as well. Like they're a little bit too cartoony looking. I'm not sure. I want them to be a little bit brighter, and I want them to be a little bit more detailed. So these I need to spray paint because I already tried using the markers just directly on them, and it's okay. I need to spray all of them first, and then these I'm Mod Podging and then gonna spray. So we have a bunch of that I'm trying to get finished now, but I think I have about 10 projects I'm working on right now, all just hobby stuff. I made a video explaining that because people on my Discord were like, you might have ADHD. And like at first I was arguing about it. I'm like, I don't have ADHD. That's ridiculous. And then like people kept saying it, and I was like, do I have ADHD? Like, I don't know what to do with that. I get, for me, it just feels like I'm functionally interested in lots of different stuff at the same time. All right, let's get this up here. That is upside down, but it'll do. I've had a lot of fun making videos with a 360 camera. I picked one up to try and make my editing process easier because most of the time I go on to like my editor and I'm up on like Final Cut Pro, and I'll be there for a few hours just like editing videos, getting like real perfectionist about things. And the 360 camera has like really helped me to quicken my edit process so that I can make videos and I'm not like just getting crazy cuts together. So that's been nice. Let's see, where are my boats? All right, so I have this fountain that was resin, and this is the problem with some of this resin stuff. Like now so I initially put it all together and I primed it, right? And again, it was that weird resin, so like everything just scratched right off, and I was like, darn. Okay, so I tried to soak it in water and scrub the paint off because the paint was already coming off. And eventually I had to soak it in alcohol, an isopropyl alcohol, to get the paint off. And that's worked mostly, but now for some reason it's very malleable. And I don't know enough about resin to understand why it's doing that, but a bunch of this stuff is like, it's kind of malleable. And I'm trying to just keep working with it as it is. So the idea I had was, I definitely want this fountain, and I want it to be like a little centerpiece I can put in this thing. I have some of this other MDF terrain that I got from Tower Rex. And this is part of like a whole bunch of like kind of dungeon sets. So I have this like little center plaza area, and it has 4 little pillars that go around it. And it's got this thing, right? So I'm just gonna fill in these little edges with some MDF chips, kind of solidify those. I'm gonna build a little pillars around it. And I'm gonna stick this fountain right in the center. And then what I'll do on each of these pillars is create like little garden plants, right? So it's gonna have, it's gonna have like a little pillar that's, I'm gonna build it just loose real quick. All right, that's real tight. There we go, there's 1, there's 2, that's a side one, that's 3, and there's 4. So just to give you an idea, it's like, it's a little pillar. I haven't pushed it all together yet, but it sits right here in these 2 things. So I'm just gonna stick that down, and then I'll have like a little fountain area. And once I glue this down onto here, I'm hoping the rest of this, like most of the rest, like this part's a little bendy. I don't know what to do about that. Like maybe varnish or something. I don't know. Do any of you know anything about resin and why resin gets malleable after you soak it in isopropyl? I don't know, it's kind of a bummer because it's nice terrain. Like it is quality terrain. It's just impossible to paint this stuff. A bunch of these pieces were all like singles. Like this was a barrel, box, and I just glued them all together to make like kind of stackable pieces because like when you're setting up a board and you want scatter terrain, like I don't know, one of the last things I want is to be picking up hundreds of individual barrels and stuff. So like I don't mind a few big things. So anyways, I'm going through and I have a couple boats. I have like some floating barrels that are supposed to go like in the water. There's some of these like little wreckage piles. I'm probably gonna do the same thing with these wreckage piles as I'm doing with this fountain and find some kind of MDF to like just glue this wreckage pile to, like just maybe a small piece. And then I'll paint the edge of it like blue or something to give it like a watercolor. The other thought I had was I could glue these to playing cards. If I just take a playing card and put that like on there and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife and get it kind of glued on there. I think the glue sealing it to the playing card should give it enough tension to maybe hold it flat, especially if I clamp it down on something. So that is kind of like my current objective with this terrain. It was initially very frustrating because I kind of felt like the terrain should, like this resin should just work fine with primer, because I picked up a bunch of models from Etsy for this game. Like I picked up a bunch of like, flavored, this is like a giant werewolf, right? And I got this werewolf because it's gonna be a Riker. That's one of the classes in the game, right? And this is like a Drua, it's like a Drua witch doctor thing. And then this girl who has a wolf that she hunts with. This would be like a soul beast. Anyways, I have these different miniatures that I'm ready to, to like start putting paint on. And they took primer fine. Like these were resin miniatures. They all took primer fine. These are resin miniatures from a different board game. They all took primer fine. I'm like, I don't understand why the TT Combat stuff doesn't take primer well. And like I used AK primer. I used Citadel primer. I used, Monument? I don't know, another different primer. And none of it takes. All of it. Here, let's see if we can get a nice pot here on the back or something. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not everywhere, but it will definitely chip off in places. And, if you're playing these games with kids are not particularly gentle with stuff. And it's just like, I don't want to spend hours painting this thing and then have that happen to it. That stinks. So it has been a pain trying to paint TT Combat miniatures. Their MDF is excellent. These buildings were so easy to paint. Like this is all that I used Rust-Oleum spray paint on this. Like I didn't do any Mod Podge. I didn't do anything, just Rust-Oleum. And then I initially did like some sponge painting with just like the hobby store paints. And then after that, just all these markers. And these real color markers, they work great on terrain. All right, I'm saving this for later. Actually, let's see if, I'm pretty sure the Mod Podge is still holding on this stuff. I think the thing I like the most about these is I can like take these to go traveling and go to like my sister's house, hang out over there, bring some stuff that I want to get painted. Last time I did, I brought these markers and my sister wanted to use them. Like she was painting a miniature that I brought with me, and she had a lot of fun with it. She's not into board games or war games or any of that. So these, as far as I'm concerned, these are like gateway hobby supplies. You could easily just go to like the game store and hang out with a few Stormcast Eternals, and just be like, yo, you want to paint a miniature? Start getting people into painting. This is, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Anyways, I think it's working fine with the Mod Podge. Usually I got to do a couple layers to get those things on the right color, and then I'll start going different colors on top of that to kind of lean in. Just played a 40K card game. Are you serious? Whoa. What is that? What's like? Are you talking about Magic the Gathering? Like Magic with the Commander decks 40K card game? Or is there a different 40K card? Oh, are you talking about Warhammer Underworld? Anything I know about painting, I learned from like just watching YouTube tutorials. So, yeah, like whatever stuff, if I have done anything and it looks good at all, it's just watching YouTube tutorials, people talking about painting. Actually, my son is really good at it as well. He gave me the idea to do these little edge highlights on the corners of stuff, right? So I was just painting things like flat colors, and my son was like, "Hey, try a lighter color and put like an edge highlight into that thing." And I was like, "All right, sure, let's try it," right? This one, like I finished painting this whole building, and then like I was like, it's too plain. So I kind of just took a shot in the dark and started drawing vines going up it. And I was like, I'm about to ruin this thing. I know it. And by the time I actually finished the vine, and actually one of the things I wanted was, since this roof comes off, right? The roof comes off. I wanted it to be able to go either direction. So there's like a vine connection here. And in case I flip it around, you know, I want it to merge up so that there's not like a right way and a wrong way, and then there's a vine connection here, and then same thing on the other side. So I just lined them up so you can rotate it either way. All right, I see. 40K Conquest LCG out of print. Blast you! How dare you tell me about LCGs that are out of print? I love living card games. I mean, I really liked the Marvel Champions game. In concept, it's just not a great cooperative game. But I still would look for an LCG that's like fun to play with people, because I think I prefer the living card games over like the collectible card games. Like, I don't want to be buying like $400 Magic cards to make my deck complete. That kind of sucks. Would you have considered yourself artsy as a kid? Well, okay, so I first started video editing when I was about 15. I wasn't like really video editing. I was basically just like taking my favorite movies and like muting the volume on the TV, putting a scene from the movie on, and then playing other music with it. And that eventually got me interested in like going to school to learn how to edit video. So I went and took like video editing classes in junior college. And the first time like I edited like a trailer together, it was like this garbage Final Fantasy kind of, you know, mashup, kind of like a music video, but with Final Fantasy images. It took me a few days to capture all the footage and like line it up where I want it to be. It's totally campy. I used the Three Musketeers soundtrack song. What's it called? Hold on. It's totally blank from my mind. All for One, right? I used that one, and it's so bad. I think it exists somewhere on like a DVD somewhere in my house. Anyways, that was like one of the first things I edited, and I think I was maybe 16 at the time. So I don't think I was artsy before that though. My grandmother was a big painter, and I think any like painting that I like to do now, I give her a lot of credit for, because I used to sit and just like watch her paint stuff. I actually have some of her paintings here in our house. Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, I have a Venetian city up on her balcony. So, yeah, So like any of this stuff, like, I don't know if I even consider this well painted. Like, I'm not trying to be snobbish, whatever. I just kind of painted it loud. Like, I really wanted it to be bright. Like, I wanted the buildings to kind of stand out from the sidewalks and stuff. But then I also wanted the sidewalks to have like a coloration. So I started picking out different colors that would make the sidewalks pop. And initially I didn't have these blue edge highlights on them. It was just like, it was just the gray. It was the white and then gray. And my son, my older son complained about it. He said, it's too warm. Like, it needs some more coolness to it. So like I thought about it some more, and then I started adding I started adding these kind of blue edge tones to it because I just wanted I wanted all the terrain pieces to pop. And I wanted this city to look colorful in a way that I haven't really seen a lot of terrain. You know, because a lot of people are doing like really dark and washes and stuff. But I wanted this to be a place that a kid would look at and want to play. You know, like I want to make something where like a kid looked at it and goes like, oh, dude, that's super colorful. I want to play a game there, right? So I wanted to make it like inviting to kids. I've been thinking about investing in a new TTRPG, but I want something that is flexible for different themes of stories. Any suggestions? I respect how many TTRPGs you have tried. Okay, so, let me grab one of the books real quick and show it to you. I haven't actually had a chance to do a video about it, but there's a book that I got sent by, hold on, let me think of what the name of the company is. Exalted Funeral. So Exalted Funeral sent me a book a little while ago. I had filmed an unboxing for it, but I just never got time to actually finish going through it. I've packed myself with so many other things, but it is on my list or my agenda to actually get looking through this thing. So this game is a massive, this is like the deluxe version of the game that they sent me, which was very nice of them, and I owe them some kind of video. This is the Land of Eam. It has several different, hold on. Lots of people are talking about Daggerheart and Draw Steel, but I don't know how flexible it is. So any of the game systems you play can be flexible, right? It's a matter of, all right, like if you find a game system you want to run, like let's say Mouse Ritter, right? Mouse Ritter's a pretty bare bones system. You got mice and it's, the setting is like, miniaturized, but you can play it with anything. If you want to play Shadow Dark, it doesn't have to be fantasy. You can play it sci-fi. It's real easy to just take the game, the core idea, like the engine, and then ask, ChatGPT for some ideas, and then bounce those ideas back and forth. And even if you don't want to use ChatGPT, you can kind of work those things out yourself. If you're, let me read your original posting. Let's see. Think about investing in a new TTRPG, but I want something that is flexible for different themes of stories. Okay, could you give me an idea of what sort of themes of stories that you want to make the TTRPG work with? And I understand what you mean, right? Because if you start buying into one system or another system, there's like compendiums and additional books and all that. The thing is, depending on what you want to try and run, you might not have to spend any money, because there's TTRPG systems like Basic Fantasy that's totally free, and it's easy enough to just take the Basic Fantasy core mechanics and drop anything into it and start playing games. So really, I think the thing you should try and figure out is like, what sort of core mechanics do you want to be at the center of it? And what would you like the play loop to be? I want to play an anti-magic campaign where there's powerful magic, but the players have lots of martial skills to oppose them. So, okay, so you want to play a fantasy RPG where there's magical characters, but the players are not the magical characters. The players are like regular people or something. Am I understanding that correctly? Because I just had an idea like 2 days ago about a campaign idea that was basically Shadow Dark versus Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And I actually would be interested in playing this right now. Basically, all the players are going to be playing Shadow Dark characters. And the game is going to be similar to like The Boys, but in like a fantasy setting. The Shadow Dark characters, which are, they're going to die quickly, they're trying to fight the D&D characters. So the Shadow Dark characters, your players are rolling up, they're like level 1, they got like no abilities, they have 10 hit points, and they're basically trying to take out level 7 Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition characters, which is going to be really hard. Maybe even level 11, but that's probably too hard. I think level 7 to 9 is good. And so the Dungeon Master would basically make 5 or 6 level 7 Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition characters. You'd make a little fantasy world, a small city, and you'd have these boys type of superheroes in the game. The players are, low-level magic and stuff, and you're trying to go and fight those things. I mean, it'd be really easy to run that. At least that's the idea I've had. I don't know if that's necessarily what you're trying to go for. Let me see what she said. Opposed to magic. Okay, kind of like the boys, but magic instead of superpowers. Dude, you can do it. The idea is yours. If you want to run it, let me know how it goes. If you have Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, like the basic core book, you could easily make this a campaign. You just get the $30 PDF for Shadowdark. I mean, you could even do it with something like Basic Fantasy. Really what you're trying to do is you're trying to grab one of the mud core games, like Shadowdark, Basic Fantasy, White Box, AD&D, 2nd edition. Any of those mud core games where players have like 10 to 12 hit points, and like they die really quickly. You grab those characters, your players are going to play as them, and then you have some superhero characters your players are facing off. And you pull them from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. You make a couple level 7 characters, a wizard, paladin, whatever, and they're like, the jerk bad guys. They're the big bad evil people, Daggerheart, a little bit. So Daggerheart has a mechanic in it that is very similar to the Powered by the Apocalypse games, where you're rolling sets of dice, and I think it's D8s or something. Every so often, the dice are going to come back with some, and actually, no, it's D20s, but I think there's additional dice you're rolling. But every so often, you're coming back with, like, you succeeded, but bad stuff is happening, right? So you as the Dungeon Master, and this is the thing. I don't think Powered by the Apocalypse it's a hard game for a Dungeon Master to continue playing because it's constantly asking you to look at the fail state of any success, right? So Powered by the Apocalypse is that, you roll a 6 or under with 2d6s and your player fails. 7, 8, and 9, they succeed, but bad stuff happens. And then 10, 11, 12, they succeed fully. The negative side of that system is most of the time the players are succeeding, but bad stuff happens. So you as the Dungeon Master are constantly throwing at them like, oh, and now you fell down the stairs, and like, oh, you dropped your arrows. Like it's, I don't know. Yeah, yes, like Edge of the Empire, exactly. So Daggerheart has that thing where it has extra dice you're rolling with your D20s, which essentially do 2 things. One, it gives players this fate meta currency, and then the other side of it gives the DM some kind of like antagonistic meta currency. So the core idea is it's kind of just D20 D&D with an extra complication effect. I don't think the art in the book is very inspiring, and I definitely don't think the campaign that they suggest going into is interesting. I wouldn't spend money on Daggerheart. There are other game systems that to me would be far more interesting. Especially if I knew what I wanted to run, I probably would just go with an engine, right? Like if I know exactly what I want to be running, I'd go with something like Shadowdark, right? And I'd just throw my players in that. But it depends on what kind of mechanic you want. And I think I have a little more preference to the D100 systems, like the D100 roll under systems, because there's more granularity and there's a lot more customization to how players can build their characters out. So if I were going to go with like just a generic system, I think it's called the Basic Fantasy Roleplay System that Call of Cthulhu uses as its like core system, and it's really easy to build a game into that. And then you have like all these generic feats you can pull from, and you can like reflavor them and stuff. I guess it depends on how much work you want to do, and what your players want to play and what you want to run. Hey, Toast Truckin', how's it going, man? Myself, I kind of like to run games with a little bit more like granularity, like that. Let's see. What is your pet peeve for fantasy worlds? So do you mean like a general pet peeve in fantasy worlds? Um, I think one of the issues I have in like fantasy game settings is all the expectation that the game puts on players to know how to run a wizard or a fighter, right? Like you have all these generic ideas running around in fantasy games. You have all these kind of just like vague character ideas, and you as a player now need to pick up this ranger and you need to figure out how the hell to play this character. Like, what do they like? What do they feel, right? And, you know, the tabletop RPG community just gaslights all the players and goes, you play a ranger, right? And I'm like, oh, shut up, right? That's not obvious to anyone what you're supposed to be doing with that. You're expecting people to pull from the zeitgeist what a ranger is. Oh, it's like Aragorn, or oh, it's like some other character from a fantasy novel or something, or sword and sorcery thing. But if you have players that don't read that stuff, they don't know what those things are. So in fantasy settings, I think the thing that I dislike the most is the expectation that players will understand what the generic classes are and how you should play them. Because when I play a tabletop RPG, I kind of want to play as the character. I don't want to just be Nate as a rogue. There's a lot of like hurt feelings and upset that comes in when like you have players injecting themselves in the game. So I would generally prefer a bunch of people playing characters that they understand that aren't them, and they're engaging with each other that way. But instead of them just self-inserting and then getting butthurt when the party doesn't listen to them or whatever. See what you so I see. I don't like when fantasy worlds are actually post-apocalypse. Let me think. Okay, post-apocalypse. Okay, why? Why don't you like that thing? Because I've played in one that is post-apocalypse, and I actually rather like it. Like, I like the idea of the world that's trying to pick up the pieces from the previous age. And I think the reason I like it is because the lore of the game system that we're playing in is so interesting that it makes me as the DM really want to flavor out the world with specificity so my players can interact with it, and my players are totally engaged as well. So I like the post-apocalypse, but I like it specifically in the game that we're playing, the Divine Comedy. My wife doesn't have an understanding of those classes. Right, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. All right, you can let me know if you're able to hear me now. Otherwise, if you're not, I'll probably have to end the stream here because I got a phone call come in and that just did number 2. Okay, all good now. Okay, perfect. Okay. I don't think it's fair that tabletop RPGs just get to make generic ideas for characters and then expect players to know how to play them. And that's the reason, like, we struggled to play Dragonbane, we struggled to play Shadowdark, we struggled to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, we even struggled to play Wildsea. Like, Wildsea has all these, like, unique characters. You got excited. Yeah, no, I know, right? Wildsea has all these unique characters, like cactus people and, like, a husk of thousands of spiders as a person called a Celicrae. And the problem is it doesn't tell you how to be those characters in the world. It doesn't tell you, like, here's what the world thinks of a cactuar, you know, or here's what a cactuar thinks of the world. Like, how do you play that? Or I guess I'm just spiky. I guess it's just affectation. I have quills on me. I don't like that. And in the generic fantasy games, I don't like it either. Which is why when I'm thinking about a game, so I'm starting to make a new couple of series about like these generic lore-like games, and I'm explaining how I would run them so that my players would know how to play characters. So like, I just released one today about Mouse Ritter, right? And if I was gonna be playing Mouse Ritter with people, I would make it be a zombie apocalypse. And I explain the reasons why I would make it a zombie apocalypse, and I explain how I would build the world and all that. The thing I think that's really helpful in these like rules light, lore light games is to make unique classes that players can connect with, right? And so they can understand their class, like a Jedi, right? Everyone knows how to be a Jedi. Like you watch a couple Star Wars movies and you're like, yeah, I can, there's like 20 different flavors of Jedi. I can totally be a Jedi. You ask someone to go be a fighter and it's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a fighter is. You know, it's like, oh, I just fight stuff. And the problem is like the whole TTRPG community just gaslights everyone. Oh, you should know how to play this, right? That's crazy to me that that's just a normal thing. What happens is you end up getting people playing at the table and they don't really know how to play a fighter. And what they're doing is self-inserting themselves into a set of moves and abilities and fighting against monsters with their friends. But the problem is people getting hurt and frustrated and upset at each other because of the self-inserting. I think the moment you tell your players how to be the character that they're trying to be, they have a much better time playing the game, and they connect better with their character, they connect better with the world, and they definitely connect better with their with the people they're playing with, the other players. So I think the thing to do is, yes, I have watched Quinn's Quest. I think he does a really good job with his videos. I love the way he edits things. If I had the time or energy to put into editing, I would love to make videos like that. I think the style and fashion of those videos where they come up and they look like all old-timey, they're excellent. They're really well done. Let's see. How much separation of capabilities should classes have in a TTRPG? You know, I think crossover is okay. I think feats, you know, like a system like 3.5 edition D&D, where a character who's a fighter can pick this feat, but the character who's a ranger could also pick that feat. I think that stuff is fine. I think what is necessary is to help players find the uniqueness of their characters and to lean into it. So if you have a character, for example, that's a necromancer, you can have a party with 3 necromancers, so long as each one is building their character differently, and so long as each one knows how they want to build their character. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, yes, the paladin, if the paladin wants to make their character be some kind of thief, and they want to be like a healing, lay on hands, light armor paladin thief, I don't know. Yeah, that's cool, right? That's very unique. I don't have a problem with players playing their characters wrong, so long as they know why they're playing their characters. Okay, in the game we're playing, one of the people's playing a roughneck, right? And a roughneck is supposed to be kind of like a road warden, right? They're supposed to be the police of the world a little bit, right? Good at fighting, good at martial combat. This player has decided to make this roughneck no good at fighting. They've decided that they want this player to be good at talking and charismatic. They're putting all their points and all their abilities and experience into making a charismatic roughneck, which is not the suggestion that you would get if you read the book, right? But the game doesn't say you can't do that, and so this is how this player wants to do it. But the player knows how they want to play their character, and I love that. Favorite class. If we're talking about D&D, I probably like sorcerers. More than sorcerers, I probably like psionic characters. You know, characters that can like telepath people, and like, I want to play Professor X and like mind control someone and make them walk off a cliff. you know, like, yeah. Are there any DMs you look up to? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm still learning stuff, right? Like I don't know all the stuff that I need to know about tabletop RPGs and how to run them. So there are dungeon masters that I learned from. I even learned from dungeon masters that I don't really like their DMing style. You know, okay, Seth Sorkowski. I rather like a lot of his videos. Most of the stuff he puts out, like I'll give it a watch. You know, it doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, but I still think he does a really good job conveying his message. He's not just giving his fans a bunch of nonsense information. He's not just following the most trendy pattern. And I love that. I love that that is content. There's a new guy who just jumped up, the Gleaming Eye, and he did a review for Coriolis. And I thought it was like, that was a review for a game that I was like, I want to see 10 more reviews right now, because that review, even though it was like negative feedback, it made me want to look at Coriolis, right? He was saying what he liked about the game, and he's saying what he disliked about the game. And that was the thing that made me like, oh, it's a real review. I appreciate that, right? And it helped me to understand what I would have to overcome if I was playing Coriolis. So yeah, there's definitely DMs that I like their style, I like their tips. There are a lot of DMs that I don't like the feedback from, and I think some of it comes from the way like YouTube gets in the way and people start making YouTube content instead of making TTRPG content, right? Because YouTube is like, you should make Shadow Dark stuff. Make it right now, right? And if you want to be successful, you make Shadow Dark stuff, right? And you should make Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And like, everyone's following the algorithm. And I don't think that's helpful for the hobby. What elements, themes of history inspire your games? Real history stuff. Like I'll go talk with my uncle sometimes, and he's like a total history buff. He told me okay, here's a cool story, right? This is about Constantinople. Constantinople was like just the greatest city in the world. It was standing for the longest time. Amazing city. No other country on earth could get through the walls of Constantinople because the walls were so thick. They could not make cannons that could penetrate the walls, right? But there was a Catholic guy who lived up in a northern German city. The Persians got a hold of him and either forced him, coerced him, bribed him, or paid him. He was a bell maker, right? But he was like one of the best bell makers in the world. And he made a cannon that was so big and so long, because he was an expert bell maker, that he designed the cannon that could pierce the walls of Constantinople. And so it was actually a Catholic person who defeated the Holy Roman Empire in Constantinople. It was a fascinating city, right? And the thing is, that story is not interesting in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There's nothing interesting about that story in D&D 5th edition because there's way too many spells that could defeat those walls, right? Like a fireball, a teleportation, right? But that bell is cool. So in a lore-heavy, low magic system, that story about the bell is cool because you can have a mystery now, right? You can have a town, small town, 50 people. You know, there's a bell maker in that town. He goes missing, right? And the players are like trying to figure out, why is this bell maker missing? Why did they take him? And the story can be that some nation has grabbed him or he's working in cahoots with someone else to try and subvert the massive kingdom over here to build a cannon to destroy the walls. That story is interesting in a low magic setting. It is not interesting when you have flying carpets and flying airships and all that stuff. So history stuff definitely goes to inform me about how to play our games now because I generally tend to play in low magic games. The current game that we were playing, the Divine Comedy, I'm all in on it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you're looking for a game you really want to lean in on and you want my suggestion, go to the Divine Comedy Discord. You can look it up. A bunch of my videos actually have links. You just look up the video, like what I've learned, like, what is it? What was it? Benefits and challenges of playing the Divine Comedy. I have a video, it's like 10 videos ago. All the links to the Divine Comedy will be there. Go there, just go post and DM and tell the guy who runs that channel, his name is Rodney, be like, let me into the next playtest. This game it's just so good, right? The classes are so good, the life path system, the lore. My players are so vested in this game. Here, I'm gonna show you something crazy. Did they take it away? I think my wife took it. I'm having my players write little memoirs for their character in first person. And like, they're coming up with like really, really deep stuff because they understand their characters so well. Because the game system gives them so many specific tools that are lore driven so that they can kind of understand what a dumb luck is. Like that's a character in the game, right? They're lucky. They're just naturally lucky. And there's a whole class called Luck Gunners that's built around these dumb lucks. It's fascinating, right? And anyways, like I can recommend a dozen different games for people to get into. It really depends on what you think your players want to play. You know, and if you think your players want to play Shadow Dark, there's no reason to force them to play Conan, right? If all your players want to play 5th edition, there's no reason to force them to play Shadow Dark, right? Find a game your players want to play and they're interested in investing in, and get them to start playing something, and then, you know, and then I just go from there, I guess. Hold on, let me catch up with what people are writing here. See, I've been enjoying Mystic Arts a lot lately. Guy's a screenwriter with years of DMing experience. Great word to information ratio. No, I really liked his channel for a long time too. Dottie. I liked his channel. I liked his channel a lot. And then he got political, and he told he told people, if you're anti-woke, you can go F yourself. And I was like, what? Dude, like, why? Why are you doing that? Stop it. I didn't care. And it just sat with me for a while, and I was like, I think I'm still subscribed to him. I just told YouTube I don't care about his videos. He mostly makes 5th edition stuff, and that's, you know, he's cool, but that's the other thing. A lot of tabletop RPG stuff is very political while also pretending it's neutral, and that doesn't feel great, you know? I'm reading some historical fiction from Stephen Lawhead. He loves Byzantium. I don't know anything about Byzantium. Historical fiction. So is historical fiction like alternate world history? Like, you know, what if the Germans won or something? Like, is that like, I'd be curious to know what that is. Oh yeah, no problem. I appreciate the questions, Joshua. I without your questions, I would just be here rambling about markers for the last 30 or 40 minutes. So thank you for hanging out and asking questions. Yeah, I guess, okay, so what game system have you played with your players that they liked? A fictional character in real history. Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, yeah, I get it. So you're following in a real historical setting like the Great Depression or something. You're following like a made-up character. Oh, that's going to be a great way to help you get ideas for tabletop RPGs. That's a good type of fiction to listen to. That's cool. Let's see. Regarding Mystic Arts, yeah, that can be unnecessary. I'm progressive, but what's the point if it just turns people away? And like the thing is, I don't mind a person having progressive politics or having conservative politics or whatever. Like, I don't mind a person having the politics. Like, anyone who comes here, they're probably going to get some sense that I'm a little more conservative, but I'm certainly not going to tell progressive people they can go F themselves. That's crazy. You know, or the same thing, like if people are into the woke stuff, if people are like, look, I really love what Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition is doing with their weird stripper cover. Like, I love it, right? I'm like, right, great, enjoy it. I don't care for it, but I'm not going to tell you to go F yourself because you like it. That's a weird type of signaling. I don't know. And I think in that case with Dottie and the Mystic Arts, I did like his content, and I was disappointed in him as a creator that he leaned into like that political thing, you know, for whatever reason he did. Played a lot of 5e, okay? It has lots of drawbacks, but it's flexible enough for tons of homebrew. I agree, you're correct. It is very flexible. I think 5e has a sweet spot that's like level 1 until about level 6, maybe 7. The problem is once you start getting into that level 5 through 10 area, everything slows down. Your players have so many options. Your players are building really complex characters. You have players like pulling from different sections for different spells and different feats, and suddenly you have a party that can kill a boss before they even get an activation. And so you're going, oh, well, okay, apparently I underprepared that boss. All right, let me cook up something better for you guys. And then you add a little bit of something to it, and you nearly wipe the party. I think the Dungeon Dudes make a really good point with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, because they tell people who are running the game, you just got to lie to your players. You just got to fudge your dice, fake the damage outputs, change your math, pretend like you didn't roll the thing you rolled. And And to be honest, I think they're actually giving the right advice. If you're running Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, I think you have to fudge the game. I don't think it's possible to try and balance it, because every single time you try and balance it, you're going to find like, oh my goodness, I did not realize how powerful this one pack tactics character was going to be. Now I have 3 players that are down. Ooh, you know, what am I going to do, right? So it is a really difficult game system to balance. I was a player, and my character was a Christian wrestling with undeath. Interesting. So, were you playing in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but it was in a setting where there was like Catholic church or Christian church, like church was a thing? That's interesting. I almost don't know what to do with that, because I don't know how you play, as he was a vampire. Was it Christian wrestling with undeath? Yeah, so you're playing 5th edition and you were playing as a vampire. They were undead, okay, playing a vampire, but they were Christian. Does that mean in this Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Christ had died for the sins of the world? See, the mask. Oh, you're playing a Vampire the Masquerade. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, totally, yeah, okay, that, interesting. Huh, I have a friend, Ticking Time Bob. He's a big fan of Vampire the Masquerade, and so everything I know about Vampire the Masquerade comes from Ticking Time Bob. But yeah, I think the real world setting of Vampire the Masquerade is probably one of the things that allures me to it, because there's lore, but it's kind of just our own world lore, and I think that's a fascinating way to play a tabletop RPG. You know, it's kind of like Call of Cthulhu. Like you could play Call of Cthulhu, and you're basically just grabbing real world lore from like the 1920s or whatever and dropping it into a game where there's like Cthulhu Cabal or whatever. I think that's cool. I think playing in a real world setting with a TTRPG, I have only done it a few times with a game system that another guy was making, and I was play testing the game because it's in early development, and I rather enjoyed playing in a real-world setting with like magic and magic powers and stuff. So I think I probably would enjoy Vampire the Masquerade. I haven't played it, though. See, I was living in Chicago. We set the game in Chicago. Okay, that's cool. Are you still playing in that Vampire the Masquerade game? Yeah, the dudes aren't my type of stuff, but I understand their audience and the caveats that 5e naturally requires. I feel like the biggest RPG on Earth can't actually be played well 100%. Right, I think it's... I think all Dungeon Masters are basically just fudging, right? I think that if you're playing 5th edition, I think you actually have to just fudge stuff, you know? And some of that fudging is in favor of your players, and some of that fudging is to kind of try and amp things up, right? Like, I've had that fudging before where I have a monster, and I'm like, sweet, 98 hit points is exactly what this monster needs, right? And then round 1 happens, and my players have done 79 damage to it, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that's... I was expecting this combat to go like 3 rounds, and it should go 3 rounds because my players are going to be bored if they stomp this thing to death, right? And so then you up the hit points. And at that point, you're already into like well, let's just make this up as we go. But I'm pretending with my players that I'm not just making this up as I go. Honestly, at that point, like you should just play Wild Sea or something where the players make up the monster and you determine how many hit tracks it's going to have. And, you know, yeah. No, the game ended when school was over. Okay, so it sounds like you're looking for something new to get into to a tabletop RPG. You know, to be honest, the thing I would suggest is try out Shadow Dark. I don't actually particularly like the game myself, so it sounds weird me recommending someone to play Shadow Dark when I don't care for it, but that's not the point. I think everyone should try Shadow Dark as a player, not as a DM, as a player, to get a feel for what that game has, because that is a rules-light game, a rules-light, lore-light game. So you as a player can get a feel for what you like and dislike about the game, and I think any game you're thinking about running, you probably should try playing first. That way, if you ever have players that are kind of staring up at the ceiling, or they're on their phone, or they're disconnected, you can go, oh, yeah, this is that thing I was feeling when I was playing the game, because my character is utterly boring. And Shadow Dark characters are utterly boring on the surface, right? You can make them more complex, and I think people should, but the point is, it's a good system to play if you've played 5th edition, because it's no big deal learning Shadow Dark. It's so easy. You've talked about Shadow Dark a lot. I have. You know, that was the very first game that we jumped into from 5th edition, and the reason I jumped into it was because it was no big deal to just jump into Shadow Dark. Like, it's basically the same game, just without as much crunch, right? Like, 5th edition is telling a player, if you want to cast a fireball, you have a range of 120 spaces, right? Like, you know, I don't know, this many squares away, and you're going to roll this many d6, and it's going to do this damage, and it has a radius of this many things. And Shadow Dark is like, the fireball can cast far. It's arbitrary, right? It's like, it's kind of this far. This is close. This is near. This is far, right? You just kind of guess. So there's a lot of like that, just approximating things, which means that turns go really fast. Most of the time I've seen people play the game, it doesn't seem to really be playing like a role-playing game. It plays more like a board game. Almost all of the actual plays that I've seen of Shadow Dark play like people are playing Monopoly, the TTRPG. But again, none of that's the point. The idea is, like, if you're trying to figure out a game you want to run for people, I think the thing to do is figure out what system you like, what system, like how granular, how obtuse, what system you like, and then you just build, right? You can just build anything you want. If I was going to run Shadow Dark, like if I was going to run it, I have a video that's coming out like tomorrow. It's saying the same thing I'm about to say. If I was going to run Shadow Dark, I'd run it as a Disney adventure, so that every single person playing in my game would know how to run their character. And I'd grab characters like Rapunzel and Ariel and, you know, Snow White, you know, and I would grab them and I would make character classes out of each individual character. So someone could go and like, I want to be Stitch, right? I'm like, cool, let's make you a Stitch character. When Stitch dies, we'll make a new character. Who cares, right? And it'd be super easy to make little one-page characters, but I would also flesh them out and have people learn like more of how to build them out. I explain it a little bit more in the video, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing now because, I don't know, it's like, I made a video about it. But you know, like, the system is really just a way to get the setting going. And if you have people that want to run Shadow Dark, like, cool. If they want to do D20 rollover system, yeah, great. See, squares or hexes, which do you prefer? I think I tend to like hexes now, but in actuality, if I was going to play in a game, I probably would ignore hexes and squares, and I would play something like with this. And you know, if you're playing in one of these type of games, like a war game, you just get the measurement tools out. Like, I'm not paying attention to any of these squares or even these bigger squares. I would use measurement tools to get how far or how near something is. I think the hexes and counting hexes really slows stuff down. If I have to be using some sort of Chessex mat, I would go hexes over squares. Hexes are better for counting out things. They're better for more granular play. But you start getting into like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and once you have the Chessex mat and you have Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, your combat is like 2 hours for a couple rounds. Even if you have players that know what they want to do, it's just everything slows down. Like, it doesn't matter how much they know they want to do stuff. You're going to have one player take a minute for a turn, one player take 10 minutes, and then that 10 minutes makes another player take 5 minutes, and then, you know, it's just everything's, and you got to go as a DM, and it changes things, and now that player who knew what they wanted to do has to take 5 minutes themselves, and it's super slow. Let's see, have you played the board game Betrayal at House on a Hill? Yeah, I have that game. No, actually, I've played the Mansions of Madness game. I have the Betrayal at Houses on a Hill. I don't think I've actually played it, though, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar to the Mansions of Madness game, where it's basically like a board game that 4 or 5 people, they play against one player. So you have kind of like a DM who's running against the players, if I'm thinking of the right game. I like those games. See, it is not a balanced game at all. Yeah, that sounds right. Again, if it's similar to the Mansions of Madness game, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be like wipe the players out, you know? There's a lot of those games. See, every game has a different scenario. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of those games that are like Descent 2, Mansions of Madness, Star Wars Imperial Assault. Zombicide's a little bit different, but there's a lot of those games where Warcrow just released one, Warcrow Adventures. Some of them use like an AI to move all the enemies around, and some of them have like a player taking on the role of the dungeon and like fighting against the players. I generally like those games. I think they're a good way to get people into playing those games. I think the best one that I've ever played is the Slay the Spire card game, which is also a board game, because it's the only one I've ever played that really incentivizes cooperative play. And, excuse me, it does an excellent job giving 5 people access to characters and taking turns, but they're all playing at the same time. It just does a great job of it. Sometimes one player is the villain, other times it's a free-for-all. Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing the Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill is probably a little different than the Mansions of Madness. I thought they were more similar. That sounds interesting. Is that something that you play pretty often? Let's see, I love the Slay the Spire video game. What is the board game? Okay, so the board game is basically the Slay the Spire video game, like almost exactly. So if you know how to play the video game, you know how to play the board game. All right, you can play it one player, but it's best when you play it with like 2 to 4 players, and you're playing the game with the main classes from Slay the Spire all cooperatively, right? So you've got like a board where you put your characters in different slots, and you're funneling out enemies to fight against. This character has enemies that is attacking right in front. So let's say you have the Ironclad here. The player's going to be attacking the enemies are attacking the Ironclad. And the Silent is up here. The Silent can attack these enemies down here. The Silent can attack their own enemies, right? So any character can attack any of the enemies. And you have the same card mechanics, but you can build really cooperative decks. So the Ironclad can be building their deck to be tanking all the hits and like try and give armor to other people. And the Silent can build out with like poison and spread AoE damage. It's really interesting to see the different cooperative combinations that you can get, because you're doing the same thing as you're playing. Every time you complete a combat, you're looking at 3 different cards to determine what you're going to add to your deck. But you're doing it cooperatively, so you're seeing what other people are doing, and they're going like, oh, you're building into AoE damage? You know, I'm going to go into weakness to put weakness on people and put vulnerability so that you can do super damage. It is such a good translation, or like whatever that's called, where you take a video game and you translate it into a board game. Like I haven't seen another video game get turned into a board game that well. It's so well done. To be fair, I haven't looked at a lot of video game board games. I do know that they have like a sniper elite game that's supposed to be pretty good, where like you're hunting an invisible sniper. There's also a Dead Cells game, but I haven't actually checked that one out yet. That should be another one I check out, because I think it's also co-op. Let's see, the Betrayal game is in a house that has a random layout. You discover every game. Okay, I get it. So it builds out differently. All right, we played it enough to realize that the game needed to be played for the experience, not for the competition. Okay, so, all right. So does that mean it's kind of frustrating to play that game? I guess that's how that reads. Like, you played it enough to kind of go like, oh, all right, this might be frustrating to engage with. Like, it's not balanced at all, and the game, because of its randomness, it's a good experience, but it's not a great competition, I guess. At least that's how that reads. I think it's actually hard to find board games that do a really good job of cooperative play. You play it like D&D. It isn't about winning. Okay, so it's about playing out a story or something. Interesting. I think that's one of the reasons why I like some of those like cooperative board games. They kind of play like D&D in some ways. Sometimes they play like D&D for the combat. Sometimes they play like D&D because of like the tactics and stuff. Sometimes they play it like because in a role-playing way. And those games can be a really good way to get new people into TTRPGs. Sentinels of the Multiverse is a good co-op game. All right, and I'm gonna write that down. I'm not sure if I've heard that one, but I'll write it down just in case. Sentinels of Multiverse. All right, I'm gonna get ready to jump off here because Riker's getting ready for bed. Let's see, every player has a unique deck, so you don't know what the other players can do. Interesting. Okay. I have another card game that works cooperatively. It's called like Aeon. I still haven't learned how to play it. I need to actually learn how to play it because, I don't know, I have it and I feel like I've wasted money since I haven't learned it. But I like those kind of deck building card games and stuff. You aren't playing for others. Okay. See, oh yeah, Sentinels is great fun, quick to learn, very tropey. Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah, it gives you something to look for. I like finding those kind of, co-op or like easy to play, easy to bring people into. There was another one that we had that's pretty easy to jump into. Of course, is Bang. Great simple card game. I like those to have, just to like, hey, we got 20 minutes. We're gonna play a game. Let's just jump in and learn it real quick. All right, I'm gonna jump off here. Joshua and Nate, I really appreciate all your question and engagement. Everyone who hung out with the stream tonight, thanks for keeping me company. I'm gonna jump off for now. I have a bunch of videos that should be coming out. One that just came out today about Mouse Ritter, and then one that'll be coming out for Shadow Dark, how I'd run it, and AD&D 2nd Edition. And I'll keep making those. If you have any systems you're interested in how I would run them, I'll keep making those videos. But all right, God bless you all. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with me.